Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to the next reaction to 911 Season 3. The last episode that we watched was called Eddie Begins, another Begins episode where we found out the history of Eddie and how he left the army and we found out a lot more about his history with Christopher's birth and his ex-wife, whose name I'm never going to remember, but she's dead now, so it doesn't really matter. But there were some really emotional scenes with them arguing about the future, Eddie being at war, and some dramatic scenes there, all interspersed with Eddie's fighting for survival when he was underground and there was the collapse of the tower sort of thing. The whole got boarded up. There was a lot going on. It was a lot, very dramatic. There was a big storm, super dramatic. It was really good though, really emotional. And I genuinely thought for a second they were going to kill Eddie off because, I don't know, they've never killed a single character off yet, like a big character. I guess his wife's maybe one of the closest ones to it. But just in general, they've never killed anyone big off. And they were doing this whole emotional, here's Eddie's backstory. And not just that, but he was drowning, he was dying underwater. And we just did a big montage of his life with Christopher. And I was like, oh God. Acting really naive, I was burying my head in the sand. And I was like, no, there's not a chance they're going to kill him off. But luckily they didn't. They were doing this whole montage to be like, here's why he's going to fight to survive and his life with Christopher. And it was so good. It was really emotional, but a really good episode overall. The Begins episodes are always great, right? They're always fun. I think that's the last one this season. I have to wait till the next season to watch the next Begins episode. And also, you can probably tell I'm full of a cold. I can't breathe through my nose really properly at all. But hey, I wanted to watch episodes of 911, or at least one episode of 911, because I love this show. And we're fast approaching the season finale. So apologies if I sound bunged up. It is what it is. But hopefully I will cry it out watching this episode of the show. So this episode is episode 16 of season 3, and it's called The One That Got Away. Now I know it's a Katy Perry song, but The One That Got Away usually refers to someone that maybe you loved at one point, but they left or they moved away, but you couldn't be together, and they were always the one that got away, the one that you loved but you never ended up being with. I don't know how that's going to relate to our characters, but I'm sure it'll become clear as we watch the episode. And maybe there's going to be a storyline where someone reunites with the one that got away, but then trauma happens and something bad happens, someone dies, or I don't know, maybe something gets loose from somewhere, like the one that got away. We'll see as we watch the episode. If you enjoyed the video, leave some comments down below. Let me know what you thought of the episode. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And take a look at the Patreon link down below to watch the full episode, the full reaction to this episode in the description box down below, and help support the channel. Let's jump into 911 Season 3, Episode 16, The One That Got Away. Oh, I'm also wondering if this episode is going to touch on Michael at all, because it's been a couple of episodes now where we've not heard anything about Michael's illness, because we were dealing with Eddie last episode, the hold up at the dispatch centre the episode before. So maybe there's going to be some emotional devastation regarding Michael. Okay, intense burning building straight away. It's got to be so hard as Bobby to be like in fires, considering that's how your family died, surely.
Is anyone here?
Somebody's in the bathroom.
No,
It's a lot of blood.
Wait.
Gladys?
Need to get Gladys.
Somebody else in the room. Person.
Gladys? Who's Gladys?
Pet. What are we thinking?
Let's make sure. All right, Buck, we've got this. You go look around.
I guess it's Cat.
Find a pet.
Gladys.
Gladys. Poor cat. They were so scared.
911, what's your emergency?
What's the TTY call? Text. Something. Oh? She's deaf.
I got her. I got Gladys. She is okay.
That's not Gladys.
That's not Gladys. That's Hoover.
Oh.
Thank God.
So Gladys is the deaf woman, right?
Atwater Street incident, this is Metro Fire Command.
God.
Respond.
Captain Nash.
You've had these symptoms for a while. Urinating a lot.
Yeah.
You may have an excess of calcium in your blood. Probably from an undiagnosed thyroid condition.
Just tell me they're going to get to Gladys.
Okay.
Tom, don't worry. We've got our best boys on it.
Can you imagine, right? If I was in the middle of a fire and I was scared and whatnot, and 2 beefcakes came through the window to save me, I'd be like, take me. Hey. But that's so much fun. If it wasn't in the middle of a fire. I feel really sorry for her. It's just one of those, you're in the middle of a traumatic situation and you're struggling to communicate, like, oh god. I was supposed to inflate that just in case, please. Uh-oh. You're gonna have to drop. I'm so scared, but you have to just drop. Poor woman. She looks traumatized. She seems okay. Good.
This man could have a serious thyroid problem. Tell cardiology to order a 12-lead EKG looking for arrhythmia associated with hypercalcemia.
Got it.
That's good. That feels like that's going to come back into it, but I don't know with the show.
That big and no fatalities.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but Athena and I have a date night tonight too, so you guys have a good time. Good job.
Poor book.
Yeah, sure.
We're not the Buckley I was looking forward to spending my night with.
I get a gym, go wine and dine my sister.
Oh, everyone's dating someone and busy.
We'll celebrate alone.
Heroic firefighter rescue from blazing inferno
Hey,
tonight.
that's me. That's me.
Idiot! Running straight into a hellfire like that, pulling rope stunts. Only a moron would do something that reckless.
Those
Oh, get
morons
to fuck.
saving lives.
Damn straight. LAFD. Best and bravest on God's green earth, right?
What's your problem? What?
You used to be a firefighter.
Still a firefighter.
Oh, okay.
Still talk to your old crew from time to time, right? I mean, you guys are all still in touch.
At first. You know, there were barbecues and parties and swapping war stories.
Oh, I see what's happening.
Nowadays, the only thing that gets us all together in the same room
One of us
is
dies.
when another one of us is dead.
I can see they're trying to.
We're all gonna go eventually, kid. You just don't want to be the
How do I
last
write it?
one left.
Buck's gonna be scared this is his future, that no one wants to hang out with him. He
You'd have to have kids.
drifts apart because everyone's busy tonight and stuff.
I always thought I'd get around to it, but just never happened, you know? I was too consumed with the firehouse. It's hard for a woman to compete with that.
I think Buck's like, oh god, this sounds familiar.
You hear that?
What, Billie Holiday?
No kids.
The sweet sound of no kids. They said on the radio that someone from that apartment building fire died.
I knew that we were going to come back into it.
Guy with the cat? He seemed fine at the hospital.
He should have been fine. I gave that nurse the full rundown. I even suggested an EKG. I don't know what we could have missed.
Okay, just let me make a call.
Google jewelry.
Official
Love
cause
these
of death,
two.
cardiac arrest.
I told them he might have hypercalcemia. That's probably what contributed to his heart failure.
Maybe they didn't have time to check for it. They were inundated with patients from the fire.
But
I'm sorry.
It's them, right? This is your house.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
my family.
that's cute.
Fighting 134. Al
134.
Prescott. Hey,
Hey,
who's this?
He was handsome back in the day.
Cindy, the one that got away. We were gonna get married.
Subtitle.
whatever happened with you two?
It's hard for someone not to feel like they're always coming in a distant second.
You broke up over the job?
Happens.
I did once, but
Now listen to me. You can be the hero, save lives, but don't neglect having your own.
Absolutely.
Last thing you want is to
Absolutely.
be at the end, holding nothing but regrets. Trust me. No.
Oh, I feel for this guy.
life gets busy. It's easy for people to lose touch, especially when you don't work in the same firehouse anymore.
well, that doesn't make sense to me.
Good shot.
I mean, that would never happen to us.
Of course not, we're family.
So he's there.
Never gonna change. Yeah, but like if Bobby retired
You know something I don't?
someday.
Anyways, That won't happen to us.
That's what everyone says every time I left the job. Like, yeah, we'll stay in touch. Does it happen?
Dad, this is dumb.
Very
Now,
rarely.
why couldn't you just drive to the store like normal?
I think I got the hang of it.
Hey, what's that noise?
Okay, that didn't seem too bad.
There's been an accident. Oh my god, my hedge!
Sir, can you move in there?
It's illegal to fly a drone over
I
private
mean,
property. That's trespassing.
Well, no, this is just a big misunderstanding.
what's
I'm a
on the
realtor.
drone?
I was getting aerial footage of the neighborhood for a new listing. Helps sell the full experience.
I know almost every neighbor on the street, and I haven't heard about any of them selling.
Hasn't gone up in the MLS yet.
Well, if you were flying for your realty company, then this is a commercial drone, which
True.
should be registered
You know,
with
like a
the
license,
FAA.
maybe?
Can I see your remote pilot's license?
I don't have one.
Huh.
It's too cheap to pay for it.
Because you're being a perv, right?
Jones.
I found her. I found Cindy.
I
The one that
didn't
got
know
away?
She was lost. Last I heard, she was living in La Crescenta with that dentist husband of hers.
Not anymore. He died. Isn't that great? I
No.
mean, not great. That's obviously an overstatement. She's single. You're
Yeah, but if she wanted to be with him, she would have reached out,
seriously
right?
single.
Nah, I couldn't. I mean, that wouldn't be. Go and see her and pay my respects.
You should change.
I mean, it's a very, like, cute idea that
Get the car ready.
this woman that I've not seen for years, now she's alone and I'm alone, we reenact all this time romance. Practically, though, does that happen very often? No, and I'm scared.
Who is it, Doris?
Well,
Hey,
Okay.
Cindy.
Oh my. Oh, hello. What a
Oh.
nice surprise.
you're
It's really
friends of
sweet.
Miss Cindy.
Well, he is. I'm just a driver.
Please, come in. Come in.
But I guess with children, you had all sorts of animals running around.
You have to fold them very carefully before you put them in the box.
Hey, Red. Maybe we should.
I knew Red once.
Yep. A long time ago.
You're not Stanley.
God.
Why are you in my house?
Listen, Cindy, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for. I really didn't mean to bother you. I love
She's got Alzheimer's.
everything.
No, I had no idea. I was trying to help.
Do you even understand what you just did? She was all I had left. Everything else, everyone else is gone. At least I had these great memories of her. No, I don't even have that.
He did meddle in something that wasn't his business to meddle in.
Red, come on, listen to me. Just stay away from me.
Then it gets weird.
I said he was spying on women. Perv.
Bring him up and put him in interrogation, too.
Drone guy?
Yeah.
We bounced him out.
Why?
What? On whose authorization?
Feds said it wasn't worth the drive across town. Told us to cut him loose with a warning.
Abby's mom would have moments like that. To have someone you love so much look at her,
Not know who she is.
not see her.
Devastating.
You still think about her a lot?
Abby's mom? Yes, fine. Sometimes I still think about Abby.
You don't think this business with Red is hitting a little close to home? A lonely
course it
hero
is.
firefighter who's pining for his lost love.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
I think that you
Give Eddie a
tried
call.
dating a few times after Abby left.
He'll keep you
Which
company.
did not work out.
So you just stopped trying?
You're never the one getting left behind. You're the one who leaves.
Whoa.
Not with Doug.
Whoa, whoa,
Doug
whoa, whoa.
definitely should have left. All the guys you dated before.
Okay, that was a bit much.
Girl you were best friends with in high school, mom and dad.
The Last Cook.
The Last Cook, where the losing chefs from all my other shows get one more chance at redemption by me.
By
Now we're heading into
me.
the dessert, but hey, it's gonna be great, right?
Oh, God.
911. what's
Oops.
the emergency? My chef's been creamed. The
My
canister
chef's
just-
been creamed.
It exploded. I don't know how
Seriously?
it happened.
We're still 7 minutes out by my watch. He's got half of that. His torso's filling up with blood. That shrapnel probably clipped his aorta.
So this is somehow going to tie into the
You want to cut him open in a movie?
one at the beginning.
I could just widen the opening that's already there.
That's a job for a surgeon, Henry.
Manually pinch the aorta.
But she's going to be like, well, the surgeons don't listen, so I'm just going to do it.
Surgeon.
Head.
Even if you're lucky enough to find it, what
Head.
then? You're going to cut off circulation in his lower limbs?
Preserve blood flow to the heart, lung, and brain.
I feel like there's that, and also the accident she was in this season. I mean, she's taking risks that she shouldn't really take. But I hope she at least saves his life.
What the hell happened? He started crashing, too much blood loss. Thoracotomy to stabilize him.
Are you kidding me? That's a surgeon's job.
Yeah, well, it's a job she's done and done well, so might as well tell us where we're headed.
I let go for half a second. He codes before we make the ER. I'm on this train to the end. Now, which way? Go.
Thoracotomy in the field.
Oh, someone needed a challenge?
Afraid I didn't have a choice.
Doctor.
Oh, sorry.
She's not a doctor. She's the paramedic who
Oh, yeah.
then apparently felt the need to break every rule in the book.
I mean, that's not good.
Well, you know what they say about rules.
I like her.
You were right about the shrapnel. Nice work.
She's great.
Firefighter.
Wilson, ma'am. Henrietta Wilson.
Okay. Give her a raise, she's great.
This escalator's only going in one direction.
God, that was quick. What happened?
Mesothelioma. I got diagnosed last year.
What's that?
Actually, they tell me I lasted longer than they thought I would.
No, there must be some kind of treatment, you know, something they can do.
They're trying to save me. 40 years too late.
Sorry.
At least he's got somebody there.
Okay, hey, you never told me about Arno. How did he break his nose?
Well,
This is really sweet.
that's a good one. So the call comes in, and it's in an abandoned warehouse
It's
downtown.
nice he's got somebody that could be with him.
And they call me to show up. Next thing you know, she'll be doing field transplants.
It could have gone the other way.
But it didn't. So we put that in the win column. We take him whenever
Exactly.
we can get him.
Let's commemorate
Just don't
the
make
first
it like a
surgery.
habit,
Yes.
you know?
Come on. Ooh, it's
Looks nice.
Dr. Wilson.
Yeah.
I do like the sound of that.
Nice save, Henry.
She looks good.
I'll send you these.
Good job, Henry.
I trust her to be a doctor.
That girl, the cello player,
That's what I said. That's what I
still
said.
thinking about her.
Every day.
You're never not going to be responsible
How
for
much
it.
trouble am I in?
You're behind the wheel.
Patient didn't die. No one's lodged a complaint. It's a great save. Don't do it again.
Exactly. I love Bobby. That's the kind of manager you need. It was like, it was risky, but you did well. Just don't do it again.
I'm taking you home. Just not in my car.
Fire engine?
Attention.
Don't do this to me.
When you get up in the morning.
Oh, nope. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I've had like 1 or 2 episodes with not crying. We're keeping the streak up. We need to turn this channel around.
You did this for me?
Well, you sacrificed everything for the job. At least we can do what they think.
Nope. Nope.
Keep me in your heart for a while.
He passed away at 5:23 this morning. The department is going to pay for the funeral. Or did I just do that thing that I always do and make it about me? Try and fix him to
You
make
did-
myself feel better.
Maybe. But you were there when no one else was.
You know, all he ever wanted to do is talk about the job.
You are not Red. His life, that is not your future.
You don't know that.
Yes, I do. Because you're my brother.
I love Maddie.
I love you.
I love you too.
You are never gonna be left behind.
She ain't gonna leave you whether you want her to or not. You've got Christopher and the great team and your
I promise.
boyfriend Eddie.
It's not drone footage.
Oh God.
He's a serial rapist.
And we let him get away.
Well, damn. Okay, that was my reaction to 911 Season 3, Episode 16, The One That Got Away. And some storylines of that episode I really enjoyed. Some I didn't as much. So I guess let's get out of the one that I didn't enjoy as much, but was actually ended up being very sweet, which was the Buck storyline. From the beginning, when it showed that everyone was too busy to hang out with Buck and they were all coupling off and he was by himself, and then he met the guy at the bar who was the firefighter who was alone, it was very clear they were doing that storyline, which I've seen in many shows before, where someone who's feeling down or alone meets someone who's like, kind of sees themselves in them in the future. That wasn't grammatically very well worded, but what I mean is like Buck saw a firefighter who had retired and was alone, and he loved his job, was passionate about his job, spent all his time about his job, all his friends with his job. Ultimately, because he spent so much time with his job, he lost the love of his life, the one that got away. All his friends started dying because they were all people from the force who'd moved on and had other lives and jobs and whatnot. So he saw himself in Red, this dude who was alone, and he was worried that he was going to turn into that. Now, I've seen this storyline in many shows before. Like I said before, when someone meets someone that's like them from the future, in a way, you know what I mean? And so I could see straight away what they were trying to do in this episode. And it's just not a trope that I necessarily love, because they're usually very stereotypical storylines in that by meeting this person who is like you from the future, but like they're alone and they're sad and they die or whatever, you end up realising that you're not that person by the end of the episode, and you've got this great family, this great team of people that are never going to leave you, and you're not going to turn into that person. And I've seen the exact same storyline played out before in other shows. So whilst it was very sweet, and I'll talk about the ending in a little bit, it was just a storyline that I've seen. And I knew where it was going to go. It was very stereotypical. He met the guy straight away. I thought, okay, he's going to think that he's going to end up being like him. He's going to hang out with him a bit more, try and change him a little bit. Things are going to go wrong. He's going to be sad. And he's going to realise, I'm not going to be that person. And that was kind of that. Now, I didn't anticipate the storyline with the woman, his ex-girlfriend, the one that got away. That was traumatic. Because when Buck started meddling, and I found her, the one that got away, she's now single again. Part of me thought, well, she's not reached out to him again, so maybe she doesn't want to see him, maybe she doesn't want to be with him, maybe he wasn't very nice to her, I don't know. But then we actually met up with her. It was all very sweet initially, but then just a couple of things she was saying were just a bit off. And then we realised what was going on, that they never really specified, but essentially got Alzheimer's. She doesn't know who he is. She doesn't recognise him. She wanted him out of the house. She was scared. And that disease is horrendous. And I've luckily, touch wood, never been involved with someone or never known someone that's got it. And I hope I never do, because the thought of someone that you love and that you've spent so much time with, you got this history with, doesn't know who you are. Weirdly enough, there's a storyline that I'm talking about on Supernatural as well at the minute. A storyline that happened in one of the previous episodes. But with this disease, they just have no idea who you are. There's going to be glimpses of they come through and they recognise you. But on the most part, they don't know who you are. And that is really sad, because it's just awful to have someone that you know look at you and they don't recognise you. That's horrendous. So, and then I felt worse for the guy, because he was not happy. He was alone, but had these memories of her. And like he said, that's all I had was the memories of her. And whilst I've still got those, I now know that she doesn't remember who I am. So those memories are like tainted a little bit. And so Buck ultimately has made things a little worse for him. And so I felt really sorry for Red. And then he was ill and he was dying. He's got no time left. But luckily, through being friends with Buck and the experience with him, they have these little moments together. It was very sweet. And when he was in hospital, Buck could be there and just talk to him and tell me about your old friends and your old job and their life. And Buck could be there when no one else was. And so when he died, Buck was there. I don't know if he was like there. We never really saw it, but I presume he was. But yeah, he wasn't alone in his final moments, which is what we all want, right? We don't want to die alone. And whilst I agree with what I said during the episode, is that sometimes people are alone and okay with that, and for some people that is absolutely great, and that's what they want to be. They just want to be home, live alone. They don't want to be in a relationship. I think there's too much pressure on you have to get married and have kids in the world. Some people are happy just being alone. But what I really felt for him was that he was single, but also didn't really have any friends or family. That was the worst part. If he had friends and family and wanted to be single, that's fine. Ultimately, I don't think he did, and so he had this life that he wanted to lead, but because of his job, he never did. And like the guy said, you're 40 years too late. Like I wrote my own path really. Like I spent too much time focused on the job and pushed everything else to one side, and that was the sad part. But luckily, in his final moments, he had Buck, and that was great. Yeah, I would hate to think anybody would get to the end of their life and just have no friends, no family, no loved ones, and just nobody. That is really sad. Unfortunately, it's just a very real thing, and I'm glad that in Red's case, he got Buck to be there at the end, and he had that really, really, really sad moment when everyone stood outside, like, saluting him, like all the people outside the hospital. That was a tearjerker, but I've been a couple episodes now. I've had comments saying I cried too much. I've had a couple episodes where I've not cried. I don't remember really crying last episode. Maybe I did, but I don't remember it. But if I didn't, I'm keeping up a streak. But I have no doubt by the end of the season, I'll have cried again because I cry a lot, and also the show is very emotional. Speaking of emotional, Hen's storyline this episode was emotional, but in like a different way. So we had the storyline at the beginning where there was a guy who was in the fire. That was a really dramatic, tense opening to the episode. The fire, the escape, the deaf woman that was texting on the thing to speak to Maddie. They realised they'd left her up there. And then they're rappelling down the wall and breaking through the window. Dramatic, great. The explosion, the rope burning, and they had to drop into the thing. It's all very dramatic and over the top. Love it. But that led to the husband had this heart calcium thing that I don't fully remember what it was called, but Hen picked up on it, and when they got to hospital, the surgeon's doctors took over, and she said, check for XYZ. No, I think he's got such a problem. But then he ended up dying, and she's focusing on it, playing it around in her head, saying he shouldn't have died. I gave them all this information. I found this extra thing. They should have been able to save him. Now, she's convinced that the doctors didn't listen, and that's what led to his death. I mean, ultimately, maybe they did everything they could have done, including looking at what she said, and he might have just died. Unfortunately, that happens. Things happen in life, in your body, in the surgery room. Maybe he just died, and they did everything they could have done, and they listened to her. But she's convinced that she spoke to them, but they didn't listen, and so because of that, they died, and so she's taking it on herself. And I guessed correctly straight away near the beginning that this all relates back to the violinist or the cellist. The woman in the car, when she was behind the wheel of the fire truck, smashed into the side of the car and killed the woman. Now, she's always going to feel guilt about that, even though they ruled out it wasn't her fault, and that's great. She's always going to feel some sort of guilt about it because it's just sad. It's really sad and really heartbreaking to know that you were behind the wheel of a car that ended up killing someone, even if it wasn't your fault, So there was that, and then when we got to the second part, when it was the chef who had the thing punctured through him, and she was taking these risks to make sure he survived. Like Chimney said, this is a surgeon's job. Wait till we get to hospital. We'll keep him stable till then. The surgeon can take over. And she was like, no, I'm going to do it because A, she feels guilty for the cellist. B, she feels a lot more guilty for the guy that died earlier in the episode. And also she's probably got a little bit of distrust, even though they could have done everything they possibly could have done. But she's got it in her head. She's determined to save him. So she did that. Was it tracheotomy? Something like that. Something that saved the guy's life. It was very risky and she shouldn't have done it. It was like, if that had gone wrong, they could have had a crazy lawsuit on their hands from the friends and the family of that guy. Really bad. But she did it. She helped survive. She had the hand inside him. She was keeping him alive. And then a really great moment at the hospital. Well, firstly, a bad moment when the surgeon was like berating her. And don't get me wrong, she shouldn't have done it. But because she'd saved his life, I would have been like, risky, naughty, but well done. Like, you've helped us, you saved his life, kept him alive. And that's why I loved it when that woman came out and was just supporting her. I was like, well done, you did a great job. You know what they say about rules, and she never elaborated, but she was hinting at rules are meant to be broken. And in this kind of job, yes, there are very, very, very strict rules. But every now and again, if you have to break a rule to save someone's life, it's gonna happen. I can never say it should happen, because that opens up a lot of loopholes. But it does happen. And she ultimately broke a rule, saved his life, and that woman supported it. Loved her. She was great. And there was a really sweet conversation with Bobby when he brought up what I said, which is, this isn't just about the guy from before. This was about the cellist that was in the vehicle that died. She admitted to that. She thinks about her every day, understandably. And it was just really nice. And Bobby did what I did, which was, as a great manager should do, because I feel like I'm a good manager, is, you know, you took a risk. It was great. It paid off. Don't do it again. Because it just, ultimately, if it had gone wrong, would have had so many more worse consequences for her and the fire station. Luckily, it didn't. And she saved his life. That was great. And there was I loved that moment when they had the doctor's coat on Hen, and she was like, Dr. What was his surname? Dr. Wilson, I can get used to that, or something like that. Like the sound of that. I love that. That was a really sweet moment. And she would be a great doctor. I think she would end up being a really good doctor. She's just such a good voice. That's what you need from a doctor. Like someone that will be calming and soothing. And yeah, she was great. Okay, the other storyline that I want to talk about is Athena and that storyline. So a very innocent scooter ride with her father and the son. And I was waiting for the penny to drop, there's something really bad to happen, the tides to turn against them, someone gets injured or killed. And then a little bit of like a drone dropped from the sky, the scooter tripped over the drone, they fell into a hedge. They were fine. So I was just like, this is very weird for 911 to have this just innocent storyline, everyone's all good, everyone's okay. But then there was the guy who had the drone, and they were like, why are you flying it over private residential areas? You need to have a license for that. He said it's from a job. Okay, where's your license for your retail job? Not your retail, your residential sort of thing. He couldn't do it, so he got arrested. Ultimately got let go because it was just like, he was just flying a drone in the wrong area without a license. Let's just let him go. But the whole time, I hope everybody that watched it agrees with me. It was obvious that something was coming because it was just too innocent for 911. And the fact that they kept talking about this dude who was a bit of a prick anyway, it was clear he was lying. But just like, why do they keep showing us this storyline? Because it was obvious that something on that drone was going to be important. They got the footage from the drone, they got the warrant, and oh, shock horror, gasp, he was filming women through the window, as I expected. As soon as like the woman said, because he said he was filming houses for, you know, people like letting agents or whatever, she said, well, I know everyone in this area, no one that I know is moving. It was just, things were not adding up, so it's clear that he was going to be a bit of a pervert, filming women or men or children or something, because it was obvious that was going to happen, and the videos proved that he was filming women through the windows. We went to find him, obviously he'd been let go, bad, found his home. Clearly he was going to be gone, because if you had this drone with this incriminating footage on and the police have got it and you manage to get away, you go. You just go, because you know that you are going to be hunted and they're going to come for you. And as expected, they got to the house, he was gone. They were finding all these videotapes and footage that was all named and dated and addressed, and it's clear that he's been following these women a lot, and there's a lot of footage of a lot of probably different women in his garage or wherever it was they were. And then the final little like sting in the tail that twisted the story, they found footage of not just him filming women through the windows, but of him breaking into someone's home and raping them. I don't know what you can say on YouTube anymore before you get demonetized, so like a sexual assault. It was, I didn't think it was going to go there yet. I thought maybe they were going to find footage of him filming younger people or filming people through the window while they're like getting it on. I don't know, but it went to that level very quickly, which is not just they're filming inside someone's house, which is even worse, but he broke in and attacked them, and you know. So that was a nice little cliffhanger for the next episode. Nice, weird term to use, but a good cliffhanger for the next episode, that we've now got another drive forward, which is we need to find this serial rapist and stop him before he does it to anybody else. And like Athena said, we had this person in custody, and do we let him go? Not good. Not a good look for the police department. Although, I guess you could argue it was the drone thing. We had no reason to keep him. But Athena wanted to keep him while they were finding out what was on his footage because she had a feeling. Can you work on feelings? No. But maybe you should. I don't know. It's got to be a bit of an argument maybe of, should we have let him go? Should we not? Arguably, no, we shouldn't in the grand scheme of things. No, we shouldn't have let him go. Because obviously we found out now that he is a very, 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 very bad man. As expected, as anticipated. So looking forward to seeing where they take that storyline next episode, to be honest. Seeing where they take it and how dark that's going to get. But like, yeah, I'm excited to see where that goes next episode. And hopefully, I guess before that we might find out a bit more about Michael. We didn't, maybe this episode or maybe the penultimate episode or the final episode will have some progress on that storyline for better or worse. We'll have to wait till next episode to find out. As always, my name is Scott. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave comments down below and let me know what you thought of the episode. And did you guess, as I did very quickly, that that guy was going to be up to no good on that drone? I felt like it was really obvious, but I didn't expect the ending to be what it was. And that was good. I'm excited to see next episode, yeah. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Take a look at the Patreon link down below for the full reaction to this episode and help support the channel. And I'll see you all very, very, very soon for the next episode of 911 Season 3. I was about to do that then, which is 6. Bye guys, take care and stay safe.